Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Black Opinions Matter. Motherfucker, my name is Amin Hassan. I'm joined, as always, by Black Trey, Big Jerv, and the lovely B. I'm going to start calling you Queen B.
I like it.
I like Queen Bee better than Lovely. Lovely Bee is like kind of like like Queen Bee is like
I'm hating. Nah, she got to do a little more, couple episodes before she gets the queen.
What? So she's still princess?
She's still a rookie, dog. Nah, she a rookie. Watch out. You don't get that shit.
Duchess?
Nah, she like the little princess or some shit.
Princess.
She ain't got
Princess
there yet.
Bee. Princess sounds bad though. That sounds like I'm punking her out.
Trey, wait.
Hey,
Trey is coming with some energy right now. Like, what I do?
I ain't coming with no energy, man. You just got to earn your keep. You ain't here yet. Hey.
You mad because I got your hoodie on?
No, they don't even know that. It's Kaepernick today.
That's fine. That's fine. So it was twin day for me and Trey. Dre.
Yeah. Oh, his name's Trav now. Anyway.
It's Trav. Shout out to the V.
Figured out his real name is Trav.
You should start the show off with how did you become Jerv?
How did I become Jerv? Sure. High school.
You the only nigga I know that swag out his last name, by the way.
Bruh, like, you know what I mean? Everybody, my whole life has called me John. Well, a couple people call me John or Jay. And then I went to high school, and then, you start hooping with cats. And then, they asked me what school I was from. I told them what school I went to. They said, nah, that's a trash school. So we're going to call you by your last name. And the old head started calling me Jerv. He called me Swervy Jerv. Swerve. I had all types of aliases with Jerv, bro. But in high school, Jerv was born.
Okay. So an old head birthed Jerv.
I mean, my old head birthed Jerv. Listen, dog.
So when you first met Amin, what did you tell him your name was?
Oh, it was Jerv.
Okay.
It was Jerv.
So you was telling niggas your name Jerv, because I thought Jerv was your first name.
Nah, bro.
I never heard of a Jerv.
They're telling people to think my name is Jerv.
But I don't know this nigga. Man. I don't know him. Hey, that's John Jerv, but I'm going to call him Jerv. No he was introduced as Jerv. So I'm like, okay, that's an interesting name, but I'm not going to shit on it. Mom's probably was different back in the day. I don't know.
Hey, Jerv, how long did it take them to call you Jerv the Perv?
Ooh.
That's a wild name, by the way.
Like,
I think that was like junior year, senior year, high school.
You just triggered him.
Like
that's one of them nut ass jokes everybody just used. Like, oh, get out of here, yo. Like, come on, man.
It was short lived. It's cool.
I mean, but we had tough skin. Is it?
Nigga said we had tough skin.
We got a fun episode for y'all today, man. We're gonna, as always, Lovecraft Country. It's our new show. We're watching it on HBO. We're gonna review that. P Valley took a week off this week, so we're taking a week off of P Valley. We've got the Ruff Ryders Chronicle. Episodes 2 and 3 dropped. Story's getting a lot spicier now. A lot of stuff that I didn't know. I can't wait to talk about that. Nas dropped an album. Definitely got to talk about that. Jay Z dropped the track with Pharrell. I guess we're gonna have to talk about that.
It's the other way around, but yeah.
Before whatever. Either I don't care. It's a trash song.
Trash.
Before we get to any of that, I want to ask y'all a real ass question. Speaking of all this music that we're going through today, are any of you guys members of the Counting Club?
The who?
Counting Club. None of y'all. The hottest track of the summer by far is this dude from Vietnam. I'm gonna play y'all the track right now.
Nah, I ain't fucking with it.
But no, I'm telling you.
Retro.
This dude is blowing the fuck.
I thought he said fuck it 9. But
49.
Well, that's a good way to get your kids to count.
Well, let me tell you something for real. So this dude is in Vietnam. As you could tell by his accent, English is not his first language, probably not even his second or third language. But my man got a singing voice, and he sings like weird ass shit like Monday, Tuesday, like he'll sing days of the week. He'll sing numbers. And so the funny thing is people are taking his acapella Instagram singing, they putting beats under it, and it's blowing the fuck up. And now here's the deal. Now he's getting paid advertisement. He's doing paid content on Instagram where he's like, use this type of place to buy your toilet paper. Like, it's amazing. And I was just so like really refreshed because a lot of times when we're doing, you talk about the internet or social media, oftentimes it's in a very negative light, right? We talk about like how bad it is for people's self-esteem, how people are spending too much time on it, how they're not connecting in person. And this man, all the way across the world, who barely speaks the language, and by the way, trust me, it looked like his life is hard. He's not living in a palace over there. His ability to make money right now by just singing shit. Singing shit, man. I'm really impressed. It brightened up my day. Especially, given what's happening right now. We got another police shooting. This time, a gentleman by the name of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin was actually breaking up a fight. Cops come. He's like, cool. Cops can handle it now. As he's walking away, cops try to get at him as he's trying to get in his car. He's in his car, and the cop pretty much popped 7 in him. 7 in the back. I don't know what part of the training is this. And to be honest with you guys, I really don't even feel like talking about this topic. It's other than to say, yeah, go ahead, Trey.
Yeah, I mean, after getting some great basketball this weekend, and then obviously seeing that video surface online, it was just disheartening. Which I kind of felt that was, I mean, this is happening every day. Some things aren't being recorded and stuff like that. And it's, like I said, it's just being Black in America is very hard. Even if you're doing the right thing. And in this particular situation, there were people actually in the internet trying to explain the just due of why he was shot. And then when the story actually comes out that he was actually feeling like relieved that the police came, they tried to end this man's life.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that as of right now, he survived, and I hope he I hope he owned the police after this shit. Like, they name his shit, he fire all them people, hire all his cousins, whatever he want to do with the Kenosha local police, he can do it. Because after that, you shoot somebody in front of their kids, those kids are traumatized for the rest of their life. The cops are now the boogeyman. And there's no way you can explain to me that they were doing their job.
Yeah. And I was thinking about like it was one of his son's birthday. And so This is always going to be tied to his birthday. I feel like Black kids, we, at some point we witnessed some traumatic shit. And it's almost like, well, is this like planned? You guys want us to be traumatized. So you give people excuses to harm us because, trauma can show itself in different ways later on in adult life. And, people try to make up excuses as to why, cops are justified in harming people. And so this kid has to see, every birthday, he's going to remember his dad and actually like witnessing this happen on his birthday, seeing his dad shot this many times and, social media and how it's being replayed everywhere. And it's just like trauma porn. I'm so sick. I didn't watch the video.
I try to avoid it, to be honest. And then I watched it maybe 15 minutes before we got ready to record the show. And it was just, it's just the unnecessariness of it all, right? Like, a lot of times these cops claim they feared for their lives, even though we know a lot of times it's bullshit or whatever. But it was so clear. Nobody was at any risk. You didn't even try to assert the situation, try to figure out what's happening. You got your gun out and you're just shooting. And again, thankfully the man is still alive as of this taping. I hope he lives. I hope, like Trey said, he owns a police department after it. But this, in addition to what happened, we got the tape from the Masai Ujiri incident that happened at the finals last year, where the Raptors win. If you don't know the story, the Raptors, when they won the title, when you win the title, especially on an away floor, they put a rope around the floor. I guess they do it in wherever, but they put a rope around the floor. You have to have a special credential to get inside the rope. And so the Raptors win, and Masai is heading down from wherever he's watching the game, and he's trying to enter the court. And the story was that he tried to enter the court without a credential. The cop stopped him, and then Masai attacked him, quote unquote. And the cop sued Masai and went on disability. And so this week the tape came out, and it turns out Masai was the president of the Raptors. I should have mentioned that earlier. Not only did he, was that story so false, he was trying to pull out his credential. He's clearly reaching for a credential. You see the top corner of a credential come out his pocket, his suit pocket. And the cop who's wearing a body cam, the dumb motherfucker, shoves him with two hands and says, back the fuck up. That's on the initial approach. And then Masai's like, what? So he takes a step back, and my man shoves him again. And so not only did this man lie about the entire situation, about who instigated, about how Masai approached, about how he dealt with the situation, but also he's defrauding taxpayers in Alameda County, where Oakland is located. Because when you get disability as a government employee, which is what a cop is, what a sheriff's department is, that's taxpayer money. That's the people of Oakland money that he's been on disability since June 2019. Ridiculous. And just like those two things made me so angry this week. And I hate to say it, I think I'm reaching the point where I was just like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to feel this angry again.
Right.
But we move on from that topic to today. We're recording this on August 24th. It'll come out obviously August 25th. Today is Mamba Day. Yesterday is actually his birthday, August 23rd. August 24th, 8/24 is Kobe Bryant Day. Saw a lot of great tributes. A really dope Nike ad drop about Kobe talking about be better. Or, those kind of Kobe's words read by someone else. And we heard the city of Los Angeles is changing the name of Figueroa from Olympic to about Martin Luther King Boulevard. And that's basically where Staples Center is, where LA Live is. They're changing it to Kobe Bryant Boulevard, which I thought was a nice, classy move. B, I know you've been one of the people that, if you follow B on Instagram, you know that every day on her stories, no matter what she's pumping, Bikini Honey, whether she's bumping her podcast, Crazy Sexy Cool, where she's bumping our podcast, BOMM, there's always going to be at least one story devoted to Kobe Bryant. So how have you spent these last couple of days?
Oh, God. I cried my eyes out today because I'm still kind of catching up on other people's posts and stories. And it's just a constant reminder that he's not here. What actually got me today, though, was seeing his oldest daughter, Natalia. She posted, a tribute, and, she has her comments turned off. I could just imagine the anguish that, she has to continuously protect herself from, because people like to make tribute pages to Kobe and tag her to it. And I can just imagine having to see this over and over and over every day. The moment you get on social media, it has to be tough. So thinking about, his children, his wife, of course, it just made me sad. But I watched some highlights with my son, and he loves Kobe. And since my son was born, I've always called him Bean. So I'm just trying to stay positive and remember all the great memories that I have of him. Which is why I'm wearing this hoodie. I have a WNBA, the orange hoodie that he was wearing at one of the last Laker games he attended. So, he's always on my mind. I'm always paying tribute.
Trey, as the Los Angeles native here, how does it feel to have a street named after a black guy, basically, in a city? Obviously Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, but Martin Luther King died in 1968. So how does it feel to have a pretty major street in Los Angeles be named after Kobe?
I think it's the ultimate gesture. I mean, outside of Magic Johnson, He was considered like probably the ultimate Laker. So I think it's pretty sweet. Obviously, you work for, the 4 letters. So now your new address is going to be Kobe Bryant Boulevard. That's going to be really interesting, which is really cool. But for Obama and Kobe to have, streets in LA, that's pretty fire. Like I think it's a dope gesture. I think he would have wanted it because he worked his ass off in order to get these accolades and whatnot, and it's bittersweet because 42 is very young. I got a chance to push, work behind the scenes on pushing one of his business ventures with Art of Sport, and that company's going to continue to do well and live out his vision. And then I also have his numbers tattooed on me. So, I wasn't always the Kobe Bryant fan, but I did like his message on what he represented as far as using the most of your day. And then also just challenging and accepting adversity, whether it was being the villain or being loved. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of just going hard at everything you do, don't cheat the grind originally. So I think it's a celebration more than anything. I don't think I have any emotions towards it. I think that really following suit. I mean, I don't play sports anymore, but just kind of trying to do the most I can do in my life right now at the moment. I think I can take from what Kobe has, displayed in his time on Earth.
Jerv, Kobe obviously Philly native. How are you processing these last couple of days of kind of Kobe remembrance? Jerv, you on mute.
Like Trey said, I wasn't the biggest Kobe fan, but I definitely respect the dude in every aspect. And one thing I definitely admire is anyone who follows me knows how much I post my daughter, how much I do things, and I'm active with my daughter. And the one thing I did admire about dude was his relationship with his daughters and things like that. So for me, I just do what I normally do. I made sure that I made the most out of my day over the last 2 days, which is something I'm trying to do. But I was extra focused on it over the last 2 days, and then I just did my thing with my daughter. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I admired that a lot about him, and it's something that I've grown to really like and enjoy. So I kind of just did me and did the best I could over those couple of days, man. So, it's just crazy.
Yo, so let me ask this question because, like I said, B posts every day about Kobe. I'm not exaggerating there. Every day, basically since I followed you, since you've been on this podcast, and that was months ago. So, I know your posting comes from a genuine place. But I couldn't help but feel the last couple of days, there's a lot of clout chasing in the Kobe post.
Yeah.
And it just made me so uncomfortable. Like, it's just a little much. It's a little much, but I don't know how to process it. I feel like it's like the people who give money to homeless people, but then they record it.
Right.
And it's like, at the end of the day, I guess it's a good thing that homeless guy got that money or that Kobe got that remembrance. But there's just a part of me that feels dirty after seeing, especially some of these ones are just out of control. Like,
it reminds me of when Nipsey passed away and everybody posted anything. Like, I took a picture with him at the airport or whatever. It's kind of like, okay, cool. Like, I get it. I met Kobe before. I did not feel the need to take a picture because I was just so in the moment. Like, I just met my hero. This will be with me for the rest of my life. I'm cool with that. But I totally understand because some people are just posting to show like, yo, I knew him or I met him or whatever. And it's like, okay, whatever. Like, but before this situation, before he passed away, like, were you really like a fan? Were you really for him? Like, did you really care about his message, or did this happen after he passed away and you saw the impact that he had on the world? Like you said, I feel like it's really clout. it really does have a disgusting feeling tied to it.
It's crazy. It's crazy though, like the way you put it is perfect. Like you met someone that you admired, you want to be in the moment. A lot of people want to have proof. They're in the moment, all they care about is proof. And I say that having been like backstage on Cole's tour, and people coming in and say, hey, like, we're gonna introduce you to Cole, and they bring him to the back room, and Cole's there and the family's there. Cole's got his kid, and the girl want to take a picture. And everyone's like, oh, you wanted to meet him. It ain't nothing about photographing, and definitely not photographing his son, like his child, who at the time was a toddler. So it always strikes me when people are just, feels like they're looking for that more proof of look at the life, look how Tron is living for the city than it is, you know, than actually like, oh shit, like, you know, Kobe Bryant or J. Cole or whoever. So anyways, so we move from those who have passed to those who are still here. Which one do y'all want to start with? Y'all want to start with Jay Z or do y'all want to start Nas?
I thought we already did Jay Z. It was trash, right?
Okay,
like,
we already did. It was trash. Does anyone have a contrary opinion on this, so I can just skip over it? Nope. Going once, going twice. By the way, as a friend of the podcast, Tanisha points out, at Sporty by Nature on Twitter, Jay Z needs to stop like chastising black people for not being billionaires. Like this whole thing where it's like, oh, you broke boy, you working a 9 to 5. Like what? Like,
right?
Relax. Like, I hate that shit.
And I'm gonna be honest, like I love rap, but I won't say that I've always been like a Jay Z fan. Like I like certain projects from him, cool. But when I tell people why, because they always look at me like, what? You don't like, yo, I just can't relate to this dude. There's nothing relatable. Like he's not a likable person, in my opinion. And so when he releases songs and he's talking like big shit, it's just like, you're proving my point. Like, this is why I don't really fuck with him like that. And
you hold on. There's a super fan on the line. So
yeah, he's like grabbing his face.
I'm losing my mind.
Clawing his eyes out.
Like this is crazy. like we just really gonna bash. I mean, listen, he had a trash song, but like he came up in the era where shit talking and talking.
He's not your dad,
bro. Chill out, bro. We came up in an era where that was rap. Like rap was flashy, talk shit. Like that was
hold on. There's a difference between talking shit to rappers and saying like I got more than you or whatever. Like your single was 99 cents, mine was $4. That's all right. But when he's talking about to people who are working 9 to 5s that like y'all are some sucker ass niggas basically, that's where I'm like, what? Like, bro, I can't just like have a regular job. I have to be an entrepreneur.
No, I get that.
So Jerv, I have a question. So would you take 10,000 or a dinner with Jay Z?
You better answer this right, brother.
10,000?
10 racks.
He's really thinking about it.
I take the 10.
Jerv, unless it's a business meeting to like take
10.
something that's gonna, yeah, like you can't. I'm not taking no 10,000. I'm not taking no dinner.
I mean, I gotta think 10, that I could. I like. Here you go. If I'm a hustler, if I got a pitch game, I gotta think. Yo, this is my opportunity.
Do you have a pitch?
I mean,
he's not asking hypothetically.
I got a pitch. Yeah, I got a pitch, bro.
What's your pitch?
Nah, that's not for the world to know.
Okay, right.
Somebody might steal it, have their dinner with Jay Z, and next thing you know, my ideas out here cooking. But I got a pitch.
You know, I'm gonna put out a quick disclaimer. I don't know this man personally. I don't know how he is in like real life, but as a rapper, I just could never relate to his music. He could be a great person, you know, cool. However, I just can't relate to dude.
So let's moving on. We'll move on to Nas, which is, I'll be honest, when you guys said let's review the Nas album, you guys know me. I'm old. I've reached a point in my life where like I just don't like listening to new music. Like I just don't care. I can't get up for it. I can't. But I'm recording now from the new from the new Death Star studio. So now I commute. So now I have a reason to play music. So I listened to the album on the way here. I can't lie. I kind of like it, man. Like that track with Ferg. I was like, okay,
Hard.
that track is killing, man.
It made me feel happy to be fucking 35, nigga.
Oh,
that's
man.
That's how that album. You know how Dave Chappelle be like, nigga. That's how I felt when I was listening to that, because I was just like, cool. I like young shit. That shit is great, right? The rappers, we can't pronounce them niggas' name. I like the beat sometimes, but Nas, it was one line, right? On All Bad with Anderson .Paak. He gave a bar.
Oh, yeah.
He gave a bar about fucking with like just women. And he always good for one of them lines. But I was just like, I was in the car like, oh, bad. You know what I'm saying? And then the joint with Car 85. Do you know anything relatable to that? The backstory on Car 85? Like, is that a thing in New York where you have a specific car that you call? I don't know.
Car 85. Oh, no. The cab service. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of people, because yellow cabs don't stop.
Okay.
Especially if you live in the borough, they don't even come around. So you got to get the car, the taxi you got to get is a livery cab where you call the number and then they show up. And so, yeah, Car 85 is like, yeah. So, like, it's such a very
summer
New York
feel, though. Like, if Corona wasn't out, that's the shit you pull up to the barbecue with the windows down. Like, you got your nice haircut, your kicks. Like, that shit. Charlie Wilson put, like, the fucking Szechuan sauce all on the fries right there, B. Like, he really did his thing. And, you know, the other shit was Full Circle for me.
Full Circle? Which
Full
one?
Circle. That beat is crazy.
That's the firm track?
That's the firm track.
Oh,
yeah, I was impressed with that joint,
let me just say right now, you know, I love the Firm album. I love those individual careers back in the day. Nas starts it off, and I'm like, that was the first track I heard because I went straight to that one. I said, let me hear the Firm.
You thirsty?
I heard Nas. I'm like, Nas is killing. Oh man, this is great. And then AZ came on. I was like, this nigga hasn't missed a beat. He's still cold as hell. That flow is timeless. And then Cormega came on, and I was like, little rusty, but I'm feeling it. Like I'm feeling it, but he's a little rusty. Like I feel like Cormega took some time off and maybe like, you know, I think a more rep so he would have been smoother because Cormega used to be super smooth, and it was like, and then Foxy came on, and you know that meme with the dude with the cigarette where he just really stressed like this. I like her voice, her flow, her lyrics, everything was just like, who are you? And then it took me a while to figure out Nature was the last verse. And I kind of wish I didn't know that. I wish I didn't know Nature got on that track because I used to like Nature, man. But damn, nigga, that was trash. Like it
I've
literally
never been
was
a Nature fan.
De-escalating, like from the top, like oh shit, Nas, oh AZ, okay, Mega, oh Fox, oh Nature, oh it just kind of, it's definitely like you guys remember that Jay Z song "Point Out the Bounce"? It was on Blueprint 2, and it was like verse 1 was hard, verse 2 was hard, verse 3 was Kanye, and that was when you knew to skip. Like we're not listening to this.
Yeah.
Oh,
hot
star.
OG Ray, is that your car?
Oh my God!
I may take over for name.
Here's another one.
16-year-old me like that, bro. Are you from Chicago?
Oh my God, I hated that song.
I'll tell you another song. Pop That, right? Like, French come on, great. Drake come on, great. Ross come on, great. Wayne, come on. Truck Fit now. Thank you. His hit skip.
What?
Never listen to Wayne.
You triggered him. You triggered him. Here we go. Here we go.
Come on, man. I'm going to slap this fucking laptop off the table. Bitch, stop talking that shit and suck a nigga dick for some Truck Fit when that shit was...
But isn't...
Not...
But I'm gonna hurt my knee again over here.
Especially when you compare them to the other 3 verses.
I don't care, bro. If you drunk, be dance. When that verse come on, you shaking them hips a little faster.
They don't play that verse. They skip. They never let that thing rock. They kill it before that verse comes on.
That's crazy.
There's a reason.
I ain't doing all that.
Yeah, there's a reason.
That song gets cut off a lot.
I ain't doing that.
No, you know what that kind of reminds me of now? Remember how Bad and Bougie came out and they never would play Lil Uzi verse? They wouldn't play his verse.
That's rude though, because that shit was hard.
Uzi's on Bad and he's on Bad and Bougie?
See, they got life fucked up. Uzi shit was hard. I don't know what's up with you niggas.
This many days old. I am this many hours old.
Nigga, that's the nigga, that's how we got the shoulder. How you not? Come on, my nigga. See, y'all ain't got no hoes.
No,
you see how I be coming on this? Hey, you see how I be coming this shit disrespectful as hell? My bad, dog.
Lil Uzi started his verse. It was like, Lil Uzi started his verse with yeah, and people were like,
I've heard that verse. That shit, that verse is trash.
That's crazy.
Was Lil Uzi letting us know that he's bad and bougie?
Bro.
I mean, I'm glad the young getting his money, but I mean, if we're gonna call a spade, the verse is trash.
Man, I'm about to read this shit off right now, bro. This shit hard.
Please,
no. We gotta move on. We gotta move on. Real quick, favorite track on the album, Trey.
Car 85.
On Nas album. Jerv, favorite track.
Probably Car 85.
B.
All Bad.
Man, I don't even know what the name of the track is, but the one with Berg and Fivio.
27 Summers.
Everything else I was like bopping my head like, this is cool. Wow, man, yo, this is some nice riding around listening to music. I heard that shit. It's 117
it's
today.
It's called Spicy.
I turned my windows down and I bumped the music up loud in the car. I don't give a fuck. I was sweating. It did not matter.
Can this be an ASAP Ferg appreciation right here? Because that nigga brings the energy every time.
Yo, Ferg is one of my favorite artists. I like every time I hear that nigga rap, whether it's a feature or his own stuff, it's always fire, man. I've never heard Ferg.
He never shortchanged the track. So like if he's a feature that you like, all right, here, I'm gonna bill you for this, that nigga gonna give you your money's worth. When that track come in, everybody in the fucking studio gonna be ready to fucking bust a bottle over their head.
Today's a 2-year anniversary of Milky Way. Boss Milky Way album came out 2 years ago today. Shout out to Boss. Boca Raton, Ferg brings that shit so hard on that track.
Is nuts.
I don't even know if I should say this shit or not, but we joke around a lot that Ferg ought to be on Dreamville.
Get him there.
Hey, man, I mean, I'm just saying.
Snoop Dogg, Master P, that nigga.
Yeah, man. Like, I know his name. He got ASAP in the name, but like, that ain't nothing but a thing. We're working out like Y and D worked out that Locks management deal. Yo, man.
Yeah.
So let me just say, this Chronicles, I know it's gonna sound like I'm biased, way better than the Master P one. For one reason. Here's why. Because these niggas are honest. They're not selling us a fairy tale of I was gonna play basketball.
Don't be nodding your fucking head.
Man, it's true though, man. Like, this is some real ass shit. Like, why would they admit to some of this? I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Can we enjoy both? Can we like Luka Doncic and Trae Young? Can we like Luka and Trae Young?
We can, but one of them is clearly better than the other.
Oh God!
Stop playing.
God! Don't get it started.
Playing.
Don't get it started. Anyways, since you segued to the Chronicles, DMX, man. Where do we start with him, bro?
Wow, man. Like, wow. When the lady asked him, how do you process? I don't know how to process being that famous. And he looked at her and said, I don't know how to process that shit.
It's niggas like that every day, though. They beg and pray and pray and pray to be famous, and that shit be over consuming for niggas. And let it eat them alive. But in his particular situation, this nigga a crackhead and famous.
Yeah, so that's the crazy
difference.
Thing.
That's the difference, because when that nigga went on a 3-day, 72-hour binge,
72 hours
with a gun and smoking crack, and shot his uncle.
He's actively a crackhead. Actively a crackhead while he's the #1 recording artist in the world at that point. That is
he was on his third album at that point, right?
Yeah, that was between the second and third.
But let's get back into how everything kind of looped in. We got the Warlocks, shouts to AKA the Locks and Yonkers, who looked up to DMX, end up on how they ended up on Puffy's label because of Mary J, and then ended up as a management deal with Ruff Ryders, right?
Right.
I never knew that, by the way.
No, that was new to me.
Pass it over.
No, not that Mary. I knew the Mary situation, but I didn't realize
Ruff Ryders management.
I didn't realize they were on run. Yeah, I just assumed they were bad. I mean, I also didn't look too deep into it back in the day, right?
That stuff wasn't available like that either, anyway, unless niggas was really just doing interviews on it, right?
So I always thought it was Mace because I know they were boys with Mace. So I thought Mace was the one that made the intro.
But here we go. Since you brought that up, Mace finds Eve in the strip club.
That's crazy. That's insane.
That's a crazy pass off. But they try to breeze over it like it wasn't shit. Like, you know what?
That's a dope strip club too, by the way.
Real quick, Trey. Raise your hand. Trey, you can sit this one out. Raise your hand if you thought of Trey immediately when they said Mace was telling her, what do you want to do with your life?
Me.
Yeah, everybody's raising their hand right now on the pod. Even Rob. I can't even see Rob, but I know he's raising his hand.
So think about that, strippers. If you listen to the pod, if I find you in a club, I might can save your life, baby, with the right advice.
Wow.
Put his cape on.
I ain't paying. I'm giving you advice.
By the way, the strip club Eve worked at, it's a legendary strip club in Philly, but it's absolutely the worst strip club to ever go to. It's one of them hood-ass strip clubs where it's one way in and one way out.
Oh, God.
Ain't they all like that, though?
Nah, bruh. They got, they be having little dope, like, the hood joints in Philly would have, like, the pop ones would have, like, a one entrance and one exit. But I'm talking one way in, one way out. You got to walk down steps, no windows inside the joint. So if anybody ever, which I'm sure they did, I never felt comfortable there. But if anybody walked in that joint, it was a wrap. Like, there's no, police can't see or anything. But it was a dope strip club, though.
Jerv,
I mean, it was popping.
Did they sell food? They got wings?
Oh no, it wasn't.
Oh,
nah.
Damn.
This wasn't the stat. This is way before the wings fad in strip clubs. This is back when it was just liquor and and dancing. No wings and shit.
So the thing is too, another thing, while DMX is doing this, the Leroy Cohen bet that they for the $1 million. The fact that second album was a bet, like, look, we can do it. First of all, we got DMX, the dude's hungry, and this is about 3 composition books worth of music that he already had, and he just had to rap passionately and be challenged about from doing a bid. So we got 3 albums from composition books, basically walking around with his Bibles. So pretty dope to see that happen. But then also just the different stories of just watching certain shit, like the producer beef, PK, Dame Grease.
Bro, how about that?
PK is so still in his feelings about all of that.
I bet.
That's why I like this.
Well, hold on.
I mean, Swiss did turn out to be like one of the biggest ever.
Wouldn't you though? Like, if you taught this nigga everything to the point where he ripped off your style, ripped off your sound, and basically, and like the funny thing is, I didn't know. We talked about this last week. We knew about Juan D, but I did not know the extent to which the Dean family, like Ruff Ryders, was a Dean family production because it's Juan D, it's a sister Siobhan, it's another cousin, brother Poe, right? And then Swiss. So it was like, oh, they're really like running this shit, like, and to the point where they put Swiss on, like, album 1, he had 2 tracks. Album 2, he had all but 2 tracks, which is bizarre. They also didn't, I don't know if they're going to go over this. Do y'all remember? Man, you guys are young. Swiss got sued for...
Well, not all you guys. I'm
well, do you remember this, Jerv, when he got sued for copyright infringement? Because one of those beats he got was off a Casio preset?
Yeah. I kind of stopped fooling with him around that time because I was like... That's when everyone was kind of like making fun of him because it was Casio. Like all his beats were repeating. Yeah,
they're all Casio
repeated beats. Yeah.
I wasn't never mad. I was always in. But crazy to think, I always heard stories about Dame Grease because of Max B. I didn't know Dame Grease was a part of It's Dark and Hell is Hot.
Oh,
right?
yeah. But again, that's a sound. Like, you hear how Swiss stole that sound from Dame and PK.
Yeah, so like seeing that, and then obviously kind of getting the whole Max B Dame Grease and, you know, all that stuff was just different. But I also like the Jay Z versus DMX battle, right, in Baltimore. And,
in Bronx. It was in the Bronx.
Guy.
And I thought it was crazy because I was in the Bronx. Okay, I thought it was crazy because they were like, don't record DMX because this nigga didn't have nothing on wax yet, you know. Right. So the fact that he was spitting, and I like that they mutually didn't, like you said, it did come off real because they didn't just all out bias it. They said, hey, those dudes will say that they won, we'll say that we won, but we're not gonna just control the narrative. Because even Dame got his 5 cents in there, which shout out to Dame. But just crazy, like, and also how they didn't trust DMX with the drugs. He was the lookout man.
Yo, that was so one of my notes. My notes was because he's like, obviously they didn't give me the drugs. That would defeat the purpose. I was like, damn, like
that was a good DMX impersonation. By the way,
I like that. That was good.
Everything about DMX is you got to go with the flow. So when he had that one rhyme about because we don't do women and children, and my man was like, I like that way. I could do DMX with it. It'll fuck up my voice, but I could do DMX for the rest of the pod. You know,
I will say that when you do DMX imitations, that shit hurt your vocal cords.
It does.
That shit hurts really bad, bro. I've done it like trying to be funny, and somebody say, "Oh, you really sound like it. Keep doing it." And it's like, nigga, no, this shit hurt. I'm gonna need some tea after this, nigga, a throat coat or something.
It's funny because I keep. First of all, the early tracks, you hear them, like all the demo stuff, his voice isn't as gravelly, right? It kind of gets gravelly over time. And now I'm wondering, was that from all the crack? This smoking crack fuck up your vocal cords?
Could be. Because, I mean, we have some, rappers we have some rappers that are active right now that their whole sound has changed since they were first, debuted to us. Like Lil Wayne, I don't know what his situation is, what he partakes in, but he sounds nothing the same.
But you better watch out. Trey doesn't do any Lil Wayne slander.
Hey, that's not my dad. So
I'm just letting you know. You better watch out.
It's okay, bro.
He just let Lil Wayne slander happen.
It's okay. Nah, we just not about to just be disrespecting people, bro. Like,
nobody listens to that verse, Trey. Nobody listens to that.
That's fine, bro. You're not about to fuck with. Listen, Toon, my dog. I'm rolling with Toon all the way.
He one of the best to ever do it, bro.
But it's just not his verse there. I'm excited for the next episode. I think because his wife in the preview for next episode starts to mention him getting out of control. I'm guessing this is where we're gonna get what these bitches want from. Oh my God, I want to hear the story behind that track. How about, by the way, what other thing tripped me out was the idea that he didn't like Get At Me Dog as a single, right? Like, that's the single? Like, all the stuff I have to say, and y'all want this to be the single? Which is basically a freestyle, they said. It was a freestyle, and then they just went in and...
Well, the fact that they just grabbed a bunch of verses and mixed it around, because Irv really liked it, that's how that shit became.
But it was him, but it was verses of him freestyling. Yeah. They weren't real verses, right? Yeah. And then the other thing was, Ruff Ryder Anthem was because he lost a bet. He hated the beat, but he lost a bet playing cards, and they said, instead of paying up, you got to make this track. And so he said, fine, whatever. And he kind of felt like the lyrics he went in there, he said he did it in 15 minutes. It was all bullshit. Like, he shit on his own, like, effort level on that song, and it turned out to be the biggest track off that album.
Yeah. This episode was really, really great. I'm so glad that, like, I had you guys were talking about this so I could actually finally watch it, because I forgot how huge Ruff Ryders really were. And my favorite female rapper is Eve. And I've told people this. Her first album is one of my favorites. When I tell you this still gets played, at least I'll play the entire album while I'm cleaning up or whatever. Like, I listen to this still. I know like 90% of the album by heart. Like, that was my shit. That was really my shit. I really enjoyed how she was so like feminine but gritty at the same time. She had the tomboy, swag, but she was still sexy. She was still appealing to men or whatever. Exactly. And I like that because when that came out, I was probably like 12, 13. So I really like the Little Kim, Foxy. That was just too overly sexy for me. Like I didn't feel comfortable listening to them, but something about Eve just really made me.
You was like 5.
I did.
You're not supposed to be. You wasn't supposed to be. You wasn't supposed to be listening to that anyway.
But my mom is a hip hop head, so she used to play it. But I used to be like, I can't see my mom like look at me while I'm taking these lyrics in.
You was listening to Trina though.
I didn't listen to Trina like that. I didn't.
You didn't?
No,
man,
because
take your Mike ass off this pod.
The baddest bitch was so explicit. I was just like, what is this?
I'm from Compton, man. Yeah, girls is wearing pajama bottoms with them beauty supply slippers, bro. With the yeah. Hey, you can't say that now. We say beauty supply slippers.
That's what we call them.
Right, I do understand. And then also a bandana, they got their little braids or whatever, and they be playing that Trina and be rapping that shit left and right. And then also that little Kim, that Eat My Right, you know, and be going up. And that shit used to be just cringeworthy because I just didn't understand my little 15, 16-year-old body.
And you know what? It was... And it was wild because I remember Eve's sophomore album where it was more like Dr. Dre influence, and I really didn't like it. I really liked Eve with Swiss. I really liked that combination of rapper and producer. Love those two.
Dog, do you know how sick you have to be for like you to get your big break and then it not happen because Dr. Dre's working with some white rapper? Like, oh my god. That was at the time. At the
Dre
time,
did
it
her a
must have been
solid
insane.
though. Dre did her a solid though by getting her like, "Hey, I know some people here. I can't do nothing with her." But that's how we got. But that's how we came back on the circle back around of "Let Me Blow Your Mind." Yeah, we got that. It took a while to get us there. You don't like the song?
Yeah, she doesn't get enough credit, dog.
She doesn't.
You know what she is?
Doesn't. She doesn't.
You know what
get
she
enough
is?
Credit.
She's the rare artist in hip hop who left at the top and didn't like. We didn't have to see.
So she the Barry Sanders of female rap.
Yeah, of rap, of rap.
Okay,
Dre, of rap. And forget female rap. Think about how many rappers left when they're like, you still elite, and people wanted you to rap more.
Mace.
But you're like, I'm good. Nah,
because he
Mace came back. Because he came back.
That nigga came back. That drought, it would listen, bro.
He
after
came back,
double
though.
up.
Eve never came back though.
Eve never
came back. No, she does. She does shit from every
she
now
did
and
barbershop. Then she got bagged by Gumball homie.
But she didn't. But she
My
didn't
nigga,
rap.
That
though.
nigga got a B.
I'm saying she didn't make music. She didn't make music. That's what I'm saying. Like, she left at the top
she
of her
a black
music
mom
career.
with white kids right now, bro. She is not worried about rap.
No, people really
forget.
People really forget Eve's impact. She had a show. She had a clothing line. Like she was really, really popping. And she's an incredible rapper. And she really decided, like, hey, I'm gonna release this little tambourine and I'm gonna just keep it moving. Like, who does that?
Yeah, like you know who should have done that? Jay Z. I wish he had taken the Eve playbook. Like, just give me one track every couple of 6 months, and let us lose our mind and say, please come back. Like, no, I'm retired. No, this nigga gotta come out and put out trash after trash after trash. Like, because he just can't. He needs the attention.
Jerv his head is about to explode.
Because this dude and I have been going at this shit since freaking
Magna Carta. Holy crap!
Yes, since Magna Carta.
I'm that nigga.
That album was awful, by the way.
Ooh.
Awful, terrible.
It's got some songs on it.
It's got one song,
it's not a good album.
And it's because of Ross' verse. That's the only reason why that song is good.
What? Fuck with me, you know I got it.
Yeah,
that shit hard.
That's not the only song on it is good.
It's hard.
No, I'm saying that's not the only song on it is good.
Say, bro, you gonna get booted again, bro. I can't.
Hey, bro, I'll join. I'll join right back.
Speaking of booted, by the way. Speaking of booted, I won't lie. Lovecraft Country came real fucking close to getting canceled. It came real close on the Amin Hassan viewing list. As I was watching it last night, I was like, y'all are really on life support here. I loved episode 1. I was like, okay, I like this. We got some realism stuff here and some supernatural sprinkled in. And then this episode, as B just killed a bottle of Bel Air by herself. You did
about to be tooting.
She did the straight alcoholic.
She about to
pick up the bottle.
She about to be tooting it, bruh.
I had to look inside because
she looked
the bottle.
She looked in the empty bottle like a true alcoholic. I'm proud of you right now. But first of all, I want to go to Jerv because Jerv wasn't here last week. So Jerv, what are your impressions on Lovecraft Country?
So I think my first thing I would say is, like, why do y'all be setting me up to watch these shows? Like, I'm gonna think this shit's weird. I don't get it. Like, it's super weird. Trey, you told me what it's about, and I watched it, and I literally sat there and was like, all right, cool, let me lock in, I'm gonna get it. And I'm watching it, and I'm just like, I'm literally hovering over it, like, just seeing, like, how many minutes are left in it. Because I just don't get it. I think the show is super duper weird. I would never watch this show if we weren't watching this show. Like, I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Jerv. The first episode, I was like, this is good, but it might be a little weird for Jerv, especially because you didn't like Watchmen, because it had a very Watchmen vibe to it. Episode 2, do y'all remember True Blood? Did any of y'all watch True Blood?
I actually watched True Blood, and I suffered through True Blood to the end because I watched all the seasons before.
Let me say this: if you've never watched True Blood, here's another show that if you watch TNT in the morning, they got a show called Charmed. You get up in the morning like 7 a.m. on the West Coast. You put on TNT. Charmed. It was a show that had Alyssa Milano and a couple other actresses that were big in the 90s or whatever. And it was a corny, cheesy show because they try to be like cool, but also have like spirits and magic and all that. And the CGI was just awful in it. And I was watching it yesterday, Lovecraft Country, and I'm like, this will give me some Charmed vibes, bro. Like, I liked how it started with the whole Jeffersons thing. Then as soon as everybody caught amnesia, and I was like, I don't know about this. And then the whole, like,
What are those things? Are those like monsters? What are those monsters? I thought they were vampires. What are they? And then that horse birthed one, or that cow birthed one, or whatever the fuck that. Like, come on, man.
I was kind of out on a lot of it, but I was happy that the episode ended with all the white people dying mostly. Because now I'm like, we can go back. We can go back to the town they from, Chicago, and have some more realistic like scenes and stuff. That's what it looked like episode 3 gonna be. A little less magic and a little bit more realism.
So they just gonna leave all the magic and go back to real, and then what? 2 episodes later, go back to the magic.
I guess I don't know. Trey, what were you thinking? Like, cause episode 1, I felt like we all kind of liked it, right?
I'm still there.
So you like episode 2? Okay.
Here's the thing, man. Like, Jerv, I know you just don't like these type of shows. It's supernatural with a hint of racism, right? The true horror is racism, right? The underlining. But the main part of supernatural and this theme setting of 1930s and blacks and whites and all this stuff is that they're trying to mesh. We find out who Adam is, the original Adam and Eve, right?
Right.
And they're trying to mesh the Adamites, who are followers of this man, and then Christianity, which is the people on the other side of the world. And they're trying to mesh these worlds together. But the true birthright, which is our guy, George, is trying, they're using him now to open up the portal to get to Eden because Adam can't get back.
This shit got time travel.
It's a lot. But it's a lot. You know what I mean? Obviously, but it's based on a book. It's based on a book.
Honestly, that's what they were telling us.
The part I really was like, I might be out, is when they were at dinner and like they didn't know what the dinner was about or anything. And they sit down and my man, Johnny Cochran from People vs. OJ, gets up and start telling them a speech about their own bylaws. And I'm like, nigga, you had never even heard about it. Like, now all of a sudden you an expert and stuff. And you didn't even like, I didn't get a feeling that y'all had conferred with one another. And then the other dude get up and say, I command you to do this. And I was like, yo, let's be real, man. No matter what law is on the book, white people are going to be like, yeah, that shit don't matter when black people do it. There was nobody who was going to stand up and go away for real if that shit was real. I was out on that.
the thing is, you have to still factor in that it's always supernatural, and then that there were spells casted on them, except George. George is the only person that can't have a spell casted on him, right? And he did a deal with the daughter, who said, "Look, I agree to everything unless you take the spell off of my uncle and Letty, right?"
Right.
So in this scenario, pretty much, yes, it's going to continue to be weird because it got fucking supernatural fucking beings, and then you got the black people, and then now they're going to have to go back to Chicago and explain that the uncle died. So that shit's going to get really interesting. Like, how y'all come back with your dad and Letty, but not your uncle? You feel me? So it's going to get really crazy because obviously we're going to get back to the real racism, but George is going to have the power of his ancestors, which when that it was just a reenactment of what really happened when they was telling the stories, how the original got destroyed, and now when he got the powers or whatever happened when he put on the ring and they did all that shit, is now he has the spirit of his ancestors to lead him throughout this journey, for him to reclaim his true self.
He's like He-Man, basically. I have the power.
There you go.
Destroy shit. B, are you in or out after 2 episodes?
Haven't seen it.
She didn't watch.
Oh, you haven't seen it.
She's just a Rough Rider. She's a Rough Rider thug.
That's cool. You ain't missing nothing. That's cool. All right. In that case, let's wrap it up here. This was a really good episode, man. I rarely declare episodes good, but this one felt really good, man. Next week, P Valley will be back. So we'll be back to reviewing that, Jerv. So that'll get you back in your happy space. As I understand it, Drake album dropping on Friday. So
wait, Certified Lover Boy?
I don't know. So maybe Waz will be here. And then Trey, what's the documentary we're gonna watch?
Oh yeah. 1 second. Sorry. We are
Storm Over Brooklyn.
Storm Over Brooklyn, about the death of Yusuf. Can't think of his name.
Yusuf Hawkins.
Yusuf Hawkins. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna watch that. If you guys have the opportunity to watch that, go ahead and do it. Trey, is that on HBO?
That is on HBO.
On HBO. Watch that because we're gonna talk about it. It's obviously very important to what we're talking about, and we're gonna try and get some good guests to kind of chime in on that. For Black Trey, for Princess B, Queen B, don't know yet, quite Duchess B, for Big Jerv, and for our producer Rob Lopez. This has been Black Opinions Matter, motherfucker.